Welcome to Women of the World, a show which gives a voice to women from around the world who have chosen to make the United States their home. Today's moderator is Amalia Moreno-Damgaard.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Women of the World. Today we have another fabulous show with an amazing guest. I am your moderator, Amalia Moreno-Damgaard, and today I am co-hosting with, to my left, Lady Melissa Nambangi, and to my right, Janga.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would love to introduce my our host today, or our guest today, because I feel that I know her really well. And her name is Nikki Abramson. And welcome, Nikki, to the show. I'd love to start with asking you to tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your show. Nikki is an author, and I know a lot about her recent show. I know a lot about herself, but the public doesn't know who you are. So it would be a great way to start, and if you tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So I'm Nikki Abramson, and thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. I do a little bit of everything. I'm a licensed elementary school teacher and working on my master's in teaching. So teaching is at my heart and soul, but I've gotten more into theater and performing arts. Wow. And so I've created, along with 6 other people, a show called No Limits. Wow. And it's about assumptions and about defeating the odds and just life, the toolbox of life, and what you can do with life circumstances and overcoming challenges and obstacles, and how you can do that. So I've taken a lot of my own personal life stories and made them a universal story and universal message, and try to help teach and educate people through a theatrical lens as well. So I also own my own business called Renew Hope, and I do inspirational speaking and coaching as well.
So what made you to first get interested in the arts, though? Is there any other background to it, or is it like just like in the flow you went into it?
It's interesting you asked that. Growing up, I loved choir because I got to blend in with everybody and I can sing, but I was super shy and did not want to be in theater.
Okay.
And in high school, I had a couple good friends who basically said, I have to be in theater. You have to join theater.
Okay.
So I said, okay, fine. I guess I could audition for the show. I went to a small private high school and got in a role and loved it. Fell in love with the theater. Fell in love with arts, the performing arts, and being on the stage. So I did that all in high school. College, I did more of the choir stuff again. And then I missed being on stage, and I missed the idea of having my own role and playing different characters. And so I fell back into performing arts and theater world, and have been doing that ever since college.
Wow, that's interesting. I saw, I Googled you. I saw lots of images, lots of things that you do. You are fascinating.
Oh, thank you.
And because I read that, I know a little bit about the background to that. But for our audience, you want to tell us what is pushing you into doing all these things you do?
Yeah, I just want to educate people on a couple things. One would be on disabilities. And so I actually did not think I would be doing any of what I'm doing today. I studied to become a teacher, and that's really what I had hoped to do. And life happened for me, and I was in a car accident and had developed dystonia. It's a neurological condition that causes involuntary muscle spasms and movements. And as a result of that, it made me want to help other people who are going through similar challenges. And then as I looked at my story more and more, I've also realized that a lot of my story comes deep within from when I was a child. Which really relates to the idea of being a person of color and the struggles I've had as being a person of color. I am an international transracial adoptee from Seoul, South Korea. I came here when I was 6 months old. And so I don't have a whole lot of my medical history, biological parents. I don't know a whole lot, but my journey has been trying to understand how can I live in this two
Exactly.
cultures.
Mhm.
I sort of have one foot in Seoul and one foot here, and I don't know too much about the country or the language or the culture, but 'cause I'm trying to live my life here. But I've got a lot of questions from people asking me, you know, different questions of where I'm from, and I'm always thinking, oh, I'm from here, you know? Your lungs sunk, dear. I don't understand why you were sent to me. I really wish I could help you. Believe me, I want to understand this too. Why doesn't my skin color match my parents? Do you know who your real parents are? Do you know your medical history? I don't know my medical history. I don't know my biological parents. You can't test my biological parents. I know a few words in Korean. I don't like Asian food. Another doctor visit. Another. Blood draw. Waiting.
Okay, so when you're facing all these challenges, I'm sure someone in your life must be, encouraging you or motivating you. Is there anybody you think you want to share to the audience that who motivated you to become a great person like you are now?
There are so many people that I think that have shaped me of becoming who I am today.
Mm-hmm.
And in my show, I do talk about an 8th grade science teacher
Okay.
who really had inspired me to not give up
Okay.
on academic challenges.
Okay.
And we are still friends today. And I actually babysit her kids, and both her kids are actually adopted as well from China.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me that I inspired her to adopt kids from China. And so it's an interesting balance. So I give a lot of gratitude for her. There's a lot of people in my life that I've come in close contact with. I would say specifically my team that I've been working with on this show. There's 5 of them. And this is a show about my life. It's a universal message, but I owe it to this team of people because I couldn't have done it alone. Sarah is my director, and we've been working together for 3.5 years to put this together. So it's been a really great journey.
So in your play, I have seen that you've included comedy and everything mixed up. So what is the intention behind that? Why do you want to have that mixed things in there?
Yeah, so the show in general is very serious tone.
Oh, okay.
And because there's a lot of life challenges, and we're trying to kind of sort of hit people
Yeah,
over
okay.
the head, like here's something to learn.
Yeah.
And hopefully the audience a lot of times sits there almost stunned because they can't believe all these different things that have happened, or the ignorances and the assumptions that people make. And I think people think about, oh, am I doing something? Did I say something? Not necessarily to me, but to other people as well. But we think that as a team, that comedy is so important. People need to be able to laugh. And if everything is so serious, it's just a way to release the energy.
I think being too serious will make people feel guilty too.
Bit guilty, yes.
Yeah, so it's better for them to be
That's
able
true.
to laugh, but think about what you're talking about. I saw Amalia.
One of the things that I found really interesting is not only that you injected a lot of comedy into it, because this is a very serious subject. Few people understand what dystonia is.
Yes.
Few people understand your background or where you're coming from. And I think that you did a remarkable job at building a lot of different characters. I saw the show, I saw that, and I thought that was amazing. So what made you decide to combine all these characters into No Limits? That's the name of her show.
I think that we really wanted to show that there are so many people that I come across in daily life, people I don't know, people that I do know on some level, that ask similar questions, that these questions come up no matter where you go. So it's not just a one-time occurrence, but it's no matter where you go, and you keep getting hit with them every single place. I got hit with these questions as a young child, and still to this day, even just yesterday, in fact. So it's one of those things where, as I personally have reflected upon my own life journey, I want to be able to share that this is something that happens at every age, every stage of life, and no matter where you go, if you're at Target, if you're on the bus stop, if you're at a school, these questions happen.
Yeah, when looking at this, you have been here since you were 6 months old.
Correct, yes.
So one should not even connect any other country to you. How do you feel when people keep asking you, where are you from? You know, because even accent, you don't have
Exactly.
a non-American accent. So how do you feel when you keep getting that question?
It's a really big challenge. I've gotten that question my whole life, and I always want to, I guess, more encourage people to ask about my ethnicity, my race, more my background versus where you're from. Because I think where they're from, I always answer the question with Bloomington, and that's where I'm from. That's how I tell people that's where I'm from. So it has been emotionally, it's a challenge for me because I don't know, and it's sort of a dance. I also dance, and it's kind of one of those things of back and forth. Where are you from? Where are you from? Bloomington. No, where are you really from? And I'm like, I'm really from Bloomington. And I don't think people fully understand that. So it's one of those things where I hope to maybe help people to understand, well, what is the best question to ask? And how can you ask that? Off to college. Welcome to college. At our university, we're looking for a diverse group of students that fulfills our mission. So, where are you from? Oh no, I don't mean that. I mean, where are you from? If you just check these boxes, there'd be many opportunities for you. Abramson. Isn't that a Jewish last name? Oh, great to be here. I'm so excited. I got friends from all over the world. I got a particular interest in foreign exchange students. You know what? Also, I love Chinese food. So, where are you from? Bloomington. Well, you look, Bloomington. Well, okay. See you around. So, class, today we're going to talk about diversity. It is so important that we know where everyone comes from. Nikki, perhaps you would like to start us off. Would you tell everyone where you are from? Oh no. I don't mean that. I mean, where are you from? Where are you from? Well, you look you're some sort of Asian, right? Oh, miss, you are, Japanese, Chinese. Oh, so you're Korean. Well, you speak good English. How long you gonna live here? Okay, tell me something in Korean. I feel like no matter where I go, people ask me the question, where are you from? Please don't put me in a box. Ask me for my race, or say you like Chinese food. I was born in Seoul, South Korea, adopted at the age of 6 months to amazing parents. We, as adoptees, have our own culture. I know a few words in Korean.
Do you think that it might also be a little bit of an identity situation? I'm thinking about myself, and I've been in the U.S. for 33 years about, and I, like you, have a foot in my home country and a foot here, and I am very comfortable in both places. But when people ask me that question, where are you from, I immediately say Guatemala, because that's what is very near and dear to my heart. And I say, I live in the U.S., I love the U.S., but I love my home country. My heart is in my home country. So, and I'm thinking that perhaps because I came here older, I came here as an adult, and I came here with a culture ingrained in me,
Exactly.
whereas you came here as a baby, and
So-
perhaps that's where maybe the link might be missing. But now that you know that people ask you that, so when they ask you where are you from, maybe say, well,
Where you from?
I'm from South Korea.
Yeah.
So wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yeah.
And that immediately opens the opportunity. It opens the door for further conversation. and to learn more about your own culture.
Yeah, I definitely tried to learn more about Seoul and South Korea because I really am interested as I've gotten older about learning more about the culture and where I'm come from. And I actually have said that to people at times, and then I think that's interesting though, because it goes back to then people ask me, oh well, what kinds of foods do I eat, and more of the cultural things that I do, and I don't necessarily do more of those cultural things. I'm learning, but at the same time, the American culture is my culture.
So the performances that you do, so is it like is it your career, or is it like just like a hobby you're doing, the plays and what do you call it? You've been doing shows. Is it a part of your career, or is it your main? What is it? Is it like a living?
Yeah. So this is what I'm trying to do as a living. We just had our first debut of the show at the Minnesota Fringe Festival. First 2 weeks of August, which went great. We have 5 shows. We're hoping to remount the show at some point, and tour the show. So we're looking for various venues of schools and other organizations that are interested in theater companies who would want us to bring the show to them. But this is something that I'm definitely hoping to take on the road and bring it to other people.
Oh, so I just want to know a little bit more about the show. Can you talk a little bit more about the show? What is it about? I just didn't still get that full point.
Well, we said in our marketing materials that being 5 years old, I was told that I would die in my teens. And this is the story of my life. We start off with a toolbox on the stage, and I unpack different toolbox, different things in my toolbox that have helped me in my life journey. And then I also talk about various parts of my story that have been some good and some bad as well, and to help people say, here are some challenging parts, but here's some really great parts as well. But every single part is relates to the toolbox of life, and every single part is hopefully to encourage and challenge people as well. It's a fast-paced moving show, almost an hour long, and lots of different elements into the show. Talking, I would say, primarily about disabilities, and trying to bring light into that, not only dystonia, but some other things as well, and assumptions people make, and then as well as being adopted and being a person of color, and what the struggles I have, both being a person of color and being an adoptee.
One of the things to point out that we haven't talked about that I think is really, really important, this is a one-woman show. She is
wonderful.
She is it. And that has to be very challenging.
And
so
you act more than one role.
Yes.
She has many characters within the same
Characters.
show, and she is not leaving the stage for one single second, but immediately switching from one character to the next.
Judging people by their shoes is ignorant. I'm less ignorant. So are you. We are pleased to offer you this job. We think you fit the mold as an Asian American. Oh, your application was just great. You're exactly what we're looking for. Like I said, sometimes the opportunities are a little buried. Along with opportunities comes challenges. The mystery of my physical condition continues to baffle the medical community as new issues continue to arise. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for filling out this paperwork. Miss Abramson, where are you from? Well, you're too complicated. Go see your primary doctor.
And what I found really remarkable is when you talk about your medical history, and just what you went through or what you go through every single time is really it really connects with the audience, because we don't understand it. We really feel that that is a necessary part of the show, because I had no idea. You know, I hear you talk constantly about Botox, and now I understand. And I saw the show, and perhaps you can talk a little bit about Botox, because Botox in our culture is seen as a beauty enhancer or wrinkle.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Is there anything, any other meaning?
Remedy, right?
Okay, yeah.
But Botox definitely has other uses, and I've heard Nikki talk about Botox often, and I just had no idea of what
Wow.
Botox is used for beyond that. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's interesting because one of the lines in the show is, I'm ignorant and so are you. And I think that a lot of times in various situations, there are always times where we are ignorant of ourselves, and other people are as well on various things. And Botox is something I had no idea what that was for, or what it was used, or why, or anything like that. So Botox it's the same type of Botox that you get for your face, and type of thing. And I get it for dystonia, to relieve the muscle spasms. I get it every 9 months, and it's injected, or every 9 weeks, I should say, sorry.
Great.
And it's very often. And it's injected into the muscles that are growing around the nerves.
Okay.
So for me, it's the neck and shoulder, and then sometimes the low back and legs as well. And it just causes the muscles to spasm less and relax a little bit more.
Okay.
But people who have chronic migraines, they get them as well. It's used for a lot of times pain management as well.
Medical.
I really like the phrase that you said in the linked into struggles or part of life. You know, either you should take it as a cloud on your head, or take it as an opportunity. I really liked it. What made you to write that? You know, that's really very good.
Yeah, thank you. I think that we all have gone through struggles, no matter what the situation is, and no matter how old or whatever the case is. And I think that I could see my struggles as being too much. And there was a time in my life where I just wanted to go home and put the covers over my head and shut off the world.
Yes.
But I also look at life as an opportunity.
Definitely.
And I think that no matter what happens, you can say that there's an opportunity here. My parents have been my biggest gift to me, my opportunity, and have helped me to have opportunities, to give me those opportunities.
Okay, yeah.
So I look at every day and say, what are the opportunities in my life?
That I can take
And what
advantage
can I do? What can I do?
Exactly.
Because I think no matter what it is, you can do something.
Something.
So seeing that you were adopted and you need some information that you can't have, are you doing anything to working anywhere along the case of adoptees and how to improve that whole system? Are you working with any groups or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm very involved. There's lots of adoption groups in the Twin Cities, specifically Korean adoptees, because there's many Korean adoptees here in
Okay.
Minnesota. So Adopt Source is one, AK Connection is another. Children's Home Society has lots of groups as well. So I volunteer, speak on panels, and mentor kids and their families as well through the adoption communities, and try to help bring light into understanding to that. But I think the greatest struggle that a lot of us adoptees face is we don't have medical history, we don't have any family history, we don't have a whole lot to go through. And even if we learn about the culture, we still live here, and a lot of us live with Caucasian parents who can't teach us a whole lot, and I think it's that racial identity piece of, well, who am I, and how can I fit into the world and society?
That's right.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Well, we are running out of time. This has certainly been a wonderful opportunity to learn more about dystonia, to learn more about No Limits. I want to take the time to thank you for
Thank you.
being with us today, Nikki. It has been a wonderful opportunity to learn more about you. I continue to learn more about you, and you are an author, you are an actor, you are a mentor, you are a
my.
teacher. You are playing a lot of different hats, a lot of different roles. But what I
Amazing.
see here is that you are really an inspiration to
Thank
the
you.
community. And I think that the work that you are doing is very valuable because people that may have a similar condition or same condition as yours can use your information
Definitely.
to find hope in their lives.
Definitely.
So I want to take the time today also to thank my co-hosts. Uma, thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks for
And
having me
Lady
here.
Melissa, thank you for joining us today. And again to you, Nikki, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
on Women of the World. And we look forward to seeing the next show.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'll be looking for that.
We look
show.
forward to the next show as well. Thank you for watching.